Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carly Stevens. I'm a teacher and author, and this is English Nerd. So this video is specifically for writers who want some free resources for lots of different aspects of writing. So this is not only craft related, but this is largely self-publishing related. It can definitely pertain to those who are traditionally published as well, or who don't want to be published at all. But this is mostly, I would say it's the most useful for indie writers like myself. So these are the things that I've found to be so useful over the years, and so I wanted to share them with you. So number one is Libby. It is an app that is connected to the library where you can get audiobooks, you can get ebooks, and it's all for free. That's just one aspect of libraries in general that I really value and use all the time. So if you are not connected to your local library, if you do not have the library app, then I would say, what are you waiting for? Go out and get that, because there are so many more things than just the physical books on the shelves, although that's awesome too. There are resources that are not always immediately apparent. So again, I would recommend the Libby app, but I know that there are some others as well. So do a little bit of digging and see what your library has to offer. The second resource that I would say just has been a game changer for me is Canva. There is a paid version of Canva that is, I think is $12.99 a month as I'm making this video now, and it's useful enough that you might decide to go with the subscription eventually, but there's a huge amount of functionality with the free version of Canva. What Canva is, if you're not aware of it already, it's a digital artwork center. I'm not describing it super well, but you can create social media posts, you can create book covers, you can create all kinds of beautiful digital art with their templates, or you can just do it from scratch with different elements. And it has helped me so much with different advertising, and I've even created some book covers with this. And I'm not a graphic artist, but this allows me to kind of fake it till you make it as a graphic artist. So I wouldn't say that it would replace a cover designer long term necessarily, but for certain projects it definitely is. It's awesome. So that's actually also how I make my YouTube thumbnails. So all those things, Canva is fantastic. Try it out if you haven't already. In the graphic design realm, Bookbrush. There is again a paid version of Bookbrush, but the free version has some limited but useful functionality as well. Bookbrush is like a graphic design company, but specifically for books. So it's for ads, it's for cover reveals, it's for different formats of your book and kind of putting the cover in different scenarios like you see sometimes on Instagram or other social media platforms. So Bookbrush is great. What I tend to use it for is cover reveals, because they have the graphics where there's only a strip that's showing and you can kind of choose where on the book that is. So Bookbrush, it's a website, you can check it out. If you're just starting out as a writer, there are a few different newsletter mailing list services out there that are free. The one that I use is Mailchimp, and it's only free up to a certain number of subscribers. I'm not exactly sure what that number is because I definitely have not hit that yet. However, if you want some free YA fantasy stories, then you can sign up at my website, carly-stevens.com. But that is free for the first couple hundred. I think it's up to 1,000 is what I want to say. So that is a great service as well. There are different templates that you can use for your newsletters, and you can automate the times. You know, all the basic functionality that you need is there. So they're a pretty good service to check out. Next, I have Facebook groups. So I know not everybody is on Facebook, but this is what I use Facebook for the most these days. and it's different writers groups. There is so much collective wisdom when you get together with some like-minded writers, or even writers who are not writing in your genre or taking the same publication path. A couple that I am specifically involved in, or at least, lurking in, are the SPF community, which is associated with Mark Dawson and the self-publishing show, James Blatch, which is a podcast. They also upload their stuff on YouTube, but essentially they're this great podcast. And so I'm part of their group, and I'm also part of the group called Wide for the Win, which is for indie writers who are not published exclusively with Amazon, but rather in multiple places at once, so hence not exclusive, but rather wide. And if you ask a question in one of those forums, then there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are more experienced and can help you with different craft or publishing questions. So yeah, those are great resources as well. There is no fee to join, and they don't tend to have the sort of negative backbiting that I hear you have in some groups. Instead, these groups are almost exclusively really supportive and helpful. Speaking of podcasts, podcasts are a wealth of information and help with publishing, craft, any element or aspect of writing that you could possibly wish to know. And so I wanted to highlight a few podcasts that I have enjoyed or really gotten something out of the last few years. So some of the classics, the ones that have been there for a long time, again, aimed toward indie writers, but that have really helpful advice for not only indie writers, but anyone who's writing. The Self-Publishing Show with Mark Dawson and James Blatch. They do interviews with a huge range of different types of writers, and they ask craft questions, marketing questions. It's just a wonderful, wonderful series. The Creative Pen, hosted by Joanna Penn, is one that has been around the longest, and she is rightly known as just this pillar in the indie publishing community. She has investigated so many different avenues, including what is up and coming. She's always keeping on top of things like AI and what some upcoming trends might be. So I would check out that one as well. Writing Excuses is a short podcast hosted by Brandon Sanderson and others. It's only about 15 to 20 minutes per episode, and that one focuses more on craft. That one is also focused largely on the sci-fi fantasy writer side of things, but the knowledge and wisdom in that room, it's a roundtable format, is super impressive. It's very accessible, and they talk about many different aspects of the craft of writing science fiction and fantasy. A couple others that I have listened to more recently are The Happy Writer, hosted by Marissa Meyer, who is the writer of The Lunar Chronicles, Renegades, Heartless, a lot of these best-selling books. And she interviews different traditionally published authors, asking how they got to where they are, different craft questions, and things like that. So that one is nice and uplifting. She always keeps it happy. You end up at the end feeling more inspired, and it skews positive. Even when some of the books that she's talking about are really dark, she looks at it from a positive standpoint. And then last but not least, there's the I Wish I'd Known Then podcast. Oh gosh, now I'm forgetting the name of the two hosts, but it's another interview style podcast where they talk to different successful writers in a variety of genres. The two hosts, again, I'm sorry, I forget your names, are both different romance subgenres, but they don't only speak to romance writers. They've talked to just a ton of different ones that I've listened to, and the title basically says it all. What do you wish that you'd known? What did you get wrong that you have since figured out? What mistakes turned out to be a good thing? What lessons would you tell your younger self? That kind of thing. So again, it's like sitting down with these successful writers and really picking their brain about about what they wish they'd known earlier. And finally, YouTube. So you have my channel, for example. I have a lot of different videos about writing or writing resources or craft things. So all you need to do is a quick search on my channel, and I have over 350 videos right now that you can go through. Yes, there are some academic ones in there as well, but a lot of resources. There are, of course, more than just my channel on YouTube. There's also stuff like Ellen Brock or Shaylin Wrights, who get into the nitty-gritty of craft in a way that I don't often do. Sometimes I will do a deep dive into a particular subject, but that is what their channels are about. So check them out. And I'll leave you with the fact that I have a couple free resources on my website, not only those free short stories that you can get if you sign up for my newsletter, carly-stevens.com, but you can also go to the shop at that website, and there is a free self-publishing checklist that you can download. It's just a PDF, and it doesn't cost anything. You don't need to sign up for anything. So you can check that out if you're interested. And that is what I have for you. There is so much that you can learn for free. I mean, there is a university education out there if you're willing to put in the time with these different resources. I know that I've really been grateful for the wisdom that I've gotten that was just given away by these juggernauts in the industry. So if there's anybody that I left out, and I know there are lots of different channels and podcasts that I've left out, then please put those down in the comments and maybe I can find another one. All right, that's all. Subscribe and like this video if you like it. Bye.